104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 182. This week we are discussing the Netflix documentary, What Did Jennifer Do?
This was Mike's pick.
This was my pick, and the reason I picked this was because it was short. After making me watch 7 hours of child abuse from Nickelodeon the week before, you're lucky I didn't do.
You make it sound so.
It was horrible. I just remember sitting there that first day, like Tuesday, and I'm like, I'm still gonna bitch about this. I'm like on my bike, about ready to do 6 miles. I'm like, all right, here we go, Jay. Let's see this 7 episodes. I'm like, oh my God.
Was it really 7 episodes?
Dude, it was 7 episodes of this.
Wow.
7 hours. And after episode 4,
I humbly apologize.
Or 4 or 5, you're like, okay, it's
enough,
done. And it's like, no. We got 2 more of this.
Yeah, there's one.
But anyway, I picked this one right out of the gate because it was new and it was short. And, straight out of the gate, I was kind of like, okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, we got somewhere.
I feel like based on the title and then the first 10 minutes, I know where this is going.
Yeah, well, we all do because the title. So whoever came up with this, producers, if you're listening, you probably shouldn't tell us what's going on.
As they say in the business, you spilled your candy in the lobby.
What happened to Jennifer? That would have been a better. What happened to Jennifer? Because then you could say what happened to her. Why?
Or what happened?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
If you didn't already figure out what Jennifer did, because you watch this thing and you're like, well, what did Jennifer do? Well, her parents got killed, or at least her mother got killed, and her dad almost got killed but survived it. And then she's immediately taken into custody for questioning. So basically, what happens?
She called 911.
She calls 911, says, "I'm tied up. There were people in my house. I heard gunshots. I don't know what's going on. My father's," and I guess he had run out to the street and then collapsed. Police and paramedics arrive on the scene. She's like tied up to the back of a staircase or something. Her father's outside. Mother's dead inside.
Yeah.
And then they start interviewing her. And originally in the interview, like at the beginning, you can definitely see she's upset, and I felt like she did a pretty damn good job of lying.
Upset and nervous. You could see a lot of touching things.
Yeah. So the hair thing was definitely a tell.
Billy.
But poker players, we know, dude, and everything she was doing, I was like, man, I would not. She wouldn't survive one round.
She looked a little suspect for sure.
And again, I think not the responding detective, but the female one that was assigned straight out of the gate, where she was like, I felt bad for this girl, and she definitely did a good job of kind of out of the gate, at least first, trying to get them to lay some sympathy on her. And we'll tell you that didn't last too long, and we'll get to more about what Jennifer did next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens, back in the studio. Dark Side of the Stream, episode 182. What did Jennifer do? Well, hopefully you haven't figured it out just yet, but her parents were victims of gunshots. After the police did their investigation, they noticed that there wasn't any forced entry into the home. They started doing a little bit more detective work, some canvassing. They come up with the name, which is this young man who had been involved in some drug dealings and all this crazy stuff.
Her like on again, off again boyfriend guy.
So they take him in.
He was pretty straight though. He's like,
I'm doing anything.
No, I ain't doing no drugs no more, man.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, he was very believable actually. I thought
they keep bringing this girl back in. I think like after the 3rd time they brought him in, the jig was kind of up.
Yeah, you can feel it.
They kind of felt like you're not telling us everything. Eventually they get her cell phone, and this is when it gets interesting. They get her cell phone, and then they have everything because she's a kid and she's an idiot, and kids, if you're planning on doing
and she has a history of lying to her parents about saying she was going to college and she wasn't.
The college thing was crazy. So obviously her parents were immigrants from Vietnam, I think. Hardworking. They busted their bus. They had a business or something like that.
Yeah, nice house.
They were middle class, but for an immigrant family, that's pretty damn good. They definitely pushed their daughter, and you could see that they were very strict. They didn't want her to have a boyfriend. But then again, she was able to lie to them for several years about the fact that she had been admitted to college, and when in fact she hadn't been, and that she had a scholarship, and then eventually that
all the
came
lies
crashing
started
down.
kind of spilling out, and you're like, wait a minute, Jennifer did a lot, it seems like.
Jennifer was up to a lot more than just this. But then they get that. They get the cell phone stuff. After all those lies, they're pretty much sure that she's done it. Then they read the text messages. What blew my mind was that right before this thing went down, that dude said probably the dumbest thing you could possibly say to anyone if you're planning on committing a murder. And we'll talk about that next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 McKay.
Get blasted.
Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens in the studio. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 182. What did Jennifer do? So, as I was saying, the first big red flag was, oh man, she'd been lying to her parents about going to college all this time. And then she ends up telling them what's going on. They tell her she's got to pay all the money back that they gave her for school. And then the police get her cell phone records. And right then and there, they can see that this thing
jig is up.
They had been planning it. Her boyfriend, on a gift boyfriend, was the one that helped plan this. But before he goes through with it, and they're literally planning a home invasion and a murder, he goes off a limb and says, you know what? I don't think I can be with you. I'm in love with someone else.
Yes.
And then she says, call off the hit. And he goes, what are you talking about? Everything's in place. You said you wanted to do this regardless if we were together or not. At that point, if I was dude, I'd like to say I'm going to help someone plan a murder. But even if I had gone that far, the last thing I'm going to do, if I know why would you give someone ammo if you were involved in something illegal that they're going to turn on you?
And wasn't he also hoping he'd get a payday out of this?
I guess. I think that's part of what she probably alluded to him.
Screwed up.
Dude, what an idiot.
He screwed up.
Bro, you should have never. It's like your girl or your guy's going to take you on a 2-week trip to Europe. And right before you go, hey,
I've been sleeping with your friend. I've been sleeping with your buddy.
I'm having sex with your brother. By the way, and it's like, well, I guess you're not going to Europe with me. I'm going to Europe by myself.
Spilled the beans at the wrong time, homie.
Yeah, that one blew my mind. I just could not figure it out.
We weren't dealing with the smartest criminals, I think, in this one.
But I got another great tease for Jay that he doesn't even know about. Someone that actually knew this chick got on Reddit and did an AMA this weekend, which I read it, and we'll get some of those answers from someone that worked with her next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7. Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens, back in the studio one more time. Dark Side of the Stream, episode 182. What did Jennifer do?
So, this is why we do this. We go deeper. Mike has uncovered deeper after the movie stories.
Which is crazy because I had so much crap
which I've done on a few of these too. So this is good. This is good.
I figured since you had all the background for the Van Halen we did recently, I might as well up the game. You can't make me look bad.
I like that meme.
All right. So what is an AMA, you ask? If you're not familiar, AMA stands for Ask Me Anything. There's a website called Reddit. Essentially, it's just giant forum website, and there is an AMA subreddit there where people from time to time will get on and say, I work at a funeral home. Ask me anything.
I work for the government. Ask me anything. Yeah.
I'm a DJ for a classic rock station.
Hey, you should do that.
Yes. I have before, but I'm not going to tell anyone my username. Either way, it's not Mike the intern. I'll tell you that. So someone over the weekend
Mike not
got
the intern.
on AMA. Yeah, Mike not the intern. There you go. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Someone got on AMA and said, what did Jennifer do? Star Jennifer Pan was my manager for 2 years in 08 and 09 before having her own parents killed in 2010.
Holy cow. That's
right up till the point.
This is good.
Yeah. So she had a boyfriend who worked with us as well. And I'm certain if he was the same one who actually committed the invasion homicide. So she did have a boyfriend there that worked there too. She was according to this dude, she was the assistant manager for this restaurant they worked at. And I guess the GM was kind of checked out. So she used her power willingly. In this documentary, the directors and producers do a really good job of painting this girl as kind of meek and quiet.
Yes,
yeah.
That's
not the picture we got from this dude. No. the first question is did she seem off? This person say, I wouldn't say off. The girl portrayed in the interrogation footage, however, is a much different person than I knew. In the video, she looked quiet, polite, and shy.
She was doing
In
her
reality,
act. She was doing her act.
Yeah,
You know?
she was loud, abrasive, outspoken. The majority of the staff who worked there could not stand her. She loved the little bit of power she had as a manager and would boss people around and bark orders at him. He said he found out originally because someone else who worked with them sent them the Toronto Star article. They all thought it was wild, but if I'm being honest, we were sad because, you know, obviously what happened was awful to a family that busted their ass for her, you know.
That's crazy, dude.
It's incredible. It sounded like someone said it sounded like she was a college student who wouldn't go out besides her classes and had controlling parents at 24. The person said she would often stay late on the patio socializing. This part of why I don't 100% believe that part of it at all, which is also interesting. But it definitely goes down, and there's all kinds of questions about, you know, did she lie about work? He goes, as far as I knew, she was in school, and now I believe she was lying to everybody else.
Oh my gosh!
Too. So
wow.
Again, that was like, whoa! But again, it makes sense for someone to be able to lie to themselves and lie to the people they care about the most. This hardcore, you really have to believe that lie yourself. Pathological liar. And so, you know, she did a good job, but again, don't let it fool you. She did sound like she was slightly insane, and I definitely wouldn't want her to be my boss or my boyfriend. And again, if you are planning on committing a crime or going on a nice holiday vacation with your SO,
keep your mouth shut, homie.
You're thinking about sliding off, because that's not a good time.
Keep it quiet, under wraps.
Probably not a good idea. Jay, what are we watching next week?
Well, did we rate this one?
Oh yeah. How many
fake college diplomas?
Yeah, fake college diplomas. Would you get?
2.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew right out the gate.
Screwed it all up, man.
The title and the interrogation first. That screwed it up for me. Yeah, I knew.
It's like
I knew what was going to happen.
It's like if they changed the name Alien to, spoiler alert, Ash is a robot. And that's you're watching this movie called Ash is a Robot.
Yeah, they let it.
Hey, he's an android. Okay, I get it.
Well, I have a documentary that I watched long ago, and I keep forgetting. I keep leapfrogging it with other stuff. So we're gonna do this before I forget about it. It's called The Program. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's like a school for kids, and it's like you won't believe what's going on there.
The Program. Cults, cons, and kidnapping.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting.
I hope it's not 7 episodes of child abuse.
No, I think it's 4 of definitely screwing with kids.
Okay, great. Well, Jay, it looks like you got a theme this month. Either way, as always, you can watch myself or Jay do this live on Facebook at 9 a.m. every Thursday, or you can watch it on YouTube or listen to it as a podcast on our 104.7 The Cave app, or us do it live at 9 a.m. or 6 p.m. every Thursday.
I thought there was a 4th Avenue I did not know about here. Or you can teleport it to your brain.
On the radio. Anyway, I'm Mike the Intern. That's Jay Stevens reminding you.
Yeah, here I am.
We watch movies,
documentaries,
so you don't have to. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.